There's a revolution in Meta's VR gaming thanks to the use of artificial intelligence, which will allow you to speak freely to NPCs in-game. With the V56 firmware update, you get simultaneously hand controller tracking, low latency hand tracking, and automatic power management on MetaQuest Pro. But there is also a bad news. Is it really the end for Quest Pro already? The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Retribution will receive an improved version exclusively for Quest 3 in autumn. Surprisingly, Firewall Ultra will be released very soon. The Room VR Dark Matter will get an announced version on PSVR2 for free. And finally, the Dark Picture Switchback received last week a patch with several graphic improvements. And finally, again, one of the most wanted features on Quest 2 is back. I'm talking about live streaming. Hello Riff Raff, I'm Ben, and welcome to my new studios dedicated for weekly VR news. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. Before I start with the video, I want to thank my supporter, Roberto and Luke82. Thank you guys for supporting me even while you are on vacation. Okay, I know you are not on vacation, but let's pretend you are, okay? And thanks to all of you, subscribers, non-subscribers, active commenters, annoying people, and the quiet viewers who follow me without making a sound. A very hot thanks to all of you for help this channel grow in any way. Now, without further waste of time, let's get into the news. And let's start by talking about MetaQuest 3 and how it could revolutionize gaming by allowing you to interact in real time with NPC in games like never before. Qualcomm is working together with Meta on a project to develop an AI system that's called LLAMA, based on the already existing Meta LLM AI system, which uses a transformation architecture very similar to OpenAI's GPT system. Meta's AI system already overperformed OpenAI system by a wide margin, but what could this more performing and precise AI system can be used for? For example, it could enable real-time interaction with NPC inside games. You are playing a role-play game. You go to visit a merchant to trade your goods or to accept a quest, and instead of selecting predefined dialogues from a list, you can freely speak to him in the way you prefer, and he can respond not only to things related to the game, but if developers allow, to anything you ask. This is already a reality on those PC-based VR systems, because for example, using machines with 28 GB of RAM, is it already possible to exploit the maximum precision and performance of this AI system with amazing responses in a fraction of a second. Of course, the biggest challenge is to achieve this result on a standalone system, which currently require at least 3.5 GB RAM. And with this amount of RAM, is it possible to, obtain some results, but with a quality and a speed of response significantly lower. Anyway, it's only a matter of time and you will be able to speak freely with NPC inside your favorite games. MetaQuest Pro has both seen joys and sorrows. The high-end MetaQuest headset, released less than a year ago, receives some improvements in hand and controller tracking with the V56 firmware update. But there is also a bad news, and it's a really bad one. But first, let's talk about the new features, because now you can track simultaneously hand and controllers, just like Quest 3 is expected to do. It's called multimodal and allow to have an instant transition between hand and controller tracking. You can use finger touch while holding the controllers, put the controllers down and use your hands, now take back the controllers and instantly use them. Anyway, switch in an instant between hand and controller use. And considering that this is the system that Quest 3 should use to track controllers, it should provide the same capabilities. The 56 firmware update also improved hand tracking to the 2.2 version, not only for Quest Pro but also on Quest 2. It also provides application and games update even while you're not using the headset. You know that recently Meta added the possibility to update apps and games while you're shutting down your headset. But there was a problem, because if the headset completely turned off, maybe because the battery is low or maybe for some other reason, the update interrupts and you have to restart again from the beginning. With V56 there is an improvement of this feature, because for example, if the headset completely turned off while you are doing an update, you can simply connect the headset to power and continue the update from where it left off. The update also had the opportunity to activate local dimming directly from the settings of the headset on Quest Pro. Unlike OLED, for example, from PSVR2 or Big Screen Beyond, Quest Pro's Mini LED is a hybrid system between LCD and OLED. It's still technically an LCD, but with greater backlighting, using hundreds of mini LED, 500s in the case of Quest Pro, that cover nearly 4 million pixels. Previously, this feature was only available on those games that supported local dimming during development, but now you can activate local dimming on system. But there are of course some compromises to accept, such as the increase of glooming, which is the lower resolution of the illumination compared to the higher resolution of the colors, causing many adjacent light-colored pixels to be affected by darker colored pixels. It's a good compromise, but certainly does not replace the good quality of OLED. And here we are, after years and several updates, live streaming directly from headset is back. Meta had removed this feature in 2021 because they believed it wasn't being used much. However, constant users' requests have led to its re-implementation, and it will be gradually rolled out with V56. The streaming feature has also been improved and will display now a persistent panel with the number of viewers and live chat. So thank you Meta for bringing this feature back. But now let's talk about bad news. It's never pleasant when a headset is announced for discontinuation, especially when it was released not even a year ago. And I'm talking about Meta Quest Pro and the decision to end new components for producing new units. This means that Quest Pro will be produced only as long there are enough components to produce new units, and after that production will be terminated. I thought a lot about this decision, and I think that there are many factors that may have contributed to Meta Quest Pro lack of success. And let me know in the comments what you think these reasons can be. I think that maybe it was too expensive, or maybe they presented the product not as a gaming headset, but as something targeted for business. Or maybe the leaked information about Quest 3 may have caused many users to wait for more technical details before purchasing their new headset. In any case, Meta Quest Pro reached the end of its journey, and this make it the high-end headset with the shortest lifespan in VR history maybe. But Meta journey, however, doesn't end with Quest Pro. In fact, in recent months, Meta has been more alive than ever before overall in gaming, and has announced an improved version for Quest 3 that will arrive in autumn. Retribution is the second chapter of the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners saga, released by the end of the last year only for Quest 2, and then at the beginning of this year for for other platforms, also on PSVR2. And it was one of the most discussed chapter of the saga due to the several bugs and problems that had at the beginning, even if now over the months has received numerous patches that have improved it. And now we can say that especially the PC version is very good and stable as the first chapter. And honestly, I cannot wait to see how Skydance will use the best feature of Quest 3 to improve Retribution. Additionally, the fact that we have already several developers that are announcing their announced version for Quest 3. For example, there is also Pavlov that will arrive with an announced version for Quest 3. It means that out there are already several Quest 3 at work, and developers are already pushing their limits. If there is one thing there is certain about Firewall Ultra, is that the developers don't seem to have a clear roadmap in their minds. Until a few months ago, it was just rumors about the release of this game. We had just a couple of CGI trailers showing nothing about the real game. Then we had a vague release window for the end of this year or the first month of the 2024, and suddenly now Firewall Ultra is coming in August 24 for PSVR2. But be warned, it's only the version with a system aiming, automatic reloading, HUD, and all the other mechanics that make this game more similar to an arcade shooter rather than to a tactical milsim. Meanwhile, veterans of Firewall are waiting for the Pro mode, and on the internet they are already arguing about this decision to release only the assisted version of the game. Also, me find this decision wrong. I perfectly understand that Sony wanted to push forward to compete with the release of other games from other competitors and give PSVR2 users something to play before the Quest 3 arrive. But the Firewall community is a bit different. We are not talking about those players from Call of Duty run and gun style, so coming to market directly with the Pro version of the game will have made a greater impact for the players. And I think that this decision will make Firewall receive many critics and a cold launch, and we all know that once a game receives a certain reputation, especially if it's negative, it's hard to make people change their mind. One of the best puzzle VR game I ever played so far is for sure the Room VR. I first discovered this game on Android and I played the entire series, and then also played the Room VR A Dark Matter. I'm thrilled to know that will be an improved version for PSVR2. As confirmed by Fireproof Games, the developer of the Room VR, the update will be released on July 27, with some features for PSVR2, such as high-resolution texture and other several graphic improvements, and support for controller vibration. If you already own the game on PSVR, the next-gen update will be free, but of course it will be playable only on PSVR2. And speaking about updates, the patch for the Dark Pictures Switchback was released at the end of the last week, finally bringing the title from having the appearance of PS4 game or PS3 anyway, to a game that we can say is acceptable for this generation of consoles. In general, it resolved major visual problems and it added foveated rendering. Can you imagine a game that exploits eye tracking doesn't have foveated rendering? That's absurd. The update also introduced Fidelity FX Super Resolution, and so this time might be the good time to play this game if you haven't done so already. Okay, also for this week it's all. See ya in the comments to discuss about the news covered in this video, and let me know if you like all the stuff you see around. Thanks for watching, remember to like, subscribe and keep following. If you want, you can support the channel by using the super thanks button. From then it's all, see you to the next one and see ya in VR. Stay safe, riff raff.